How are you doing out there?
Well, I'm really proud of our faculty and our students. We pivoted quickly, but we had the advantage of being on spring break when it happened.
Oh, I see.
It was March 13th, Friday, and by Monday, the students were supposed to be back on campus, and we extended that 2 days and then started online on Wednesday. And I got to give the faculty credit because it was a magnificent transition, and the students have seemed to adjust really well. The upside is that what I hear from our students is that they've had more contact in a deeper, richer way with their teacher. That's the good part. What they miss deeply is the collegiality in the hallways. They miss ensembles. They miss chamber music. They miss opera. They miss all the things that they do with one another.
Right.
So they had some trade-offs.
What platforms are you guys using?
The school's platform is Microsoft Teams, and that's the one that we provide. We also provide cameras and microphones for faculty, some groups of faculty in the building for certain instruments. And the students sometimes use everything from Zoom to Facebook to FaceTime to any other digital interface they can figure out. WeChat, we've seen it all.
And isn't there a time delay with things like Zoom?
Oh yeah, but it all has a delay, so you can't play with the student for sure.
Right.
Some of our teachers, like Sergey Babian, is having all his students record what they're working on, and then he reviews that with them and then offers comments back. So every teacher has found a way to make it work for them.
Right. So, and this may be a sensitive question, but how's enrollment for next year? I mean, is this having an impact?
I'm trying to find all the tea leaves. We're prepared for a whole range of possibilities in the fall. Today, whatever today is, the 22nd, is today Friday? Yes. Whatever today is, Susan, we're 20% ahead of last year on the same date.
Really?
I don't know how to explain that. I mean, our admissions team is phenomenal. The faculty's done a great job recruiting, but today there's 6 days left before the undergraduate deadline. We're ahead of last year. So I don't know what August will be like. I don't want to kid myself. We're preparing for the full range from no school to everything being fairly normal.
Right.
But we're preparing for it all.
So changing hats, if we might, for a few minutes, because you were very involved with Detroit and orchestra before that, but the Detroit Symphony during the strike, and were you part of the negotiation that got everybody online, got the concerts online?
I was part of that team. Great.
So here we are in the middle of this crisis. Like, where do we go from here? Do we need to completely rethink the model? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So I want to be careful not to represent that I have some magic crystal ball. This is just my opinions after 35 years of being in the field.
Sure.
I've always thought that those performing organizations that had a really authentic, deep relationship with its community would eventually prevail. And I would have and I've said that for a long time, I would have never had any contemplation the current experience we are having. But when I look at what is so incredibly special about Detroit, that orchestra has a profound, real relationship with its community. It's genuine, it's long-standing, and I think that root system will help that orchestra and orchestras that have that type of relationship prevail. But I also think it's a time when the quality of an organization's leadership, both administrative and trustee leadership, this is where the marbles, this is where the chips go. It's an all-in thing. You'll notice in the Cleveland Orchestra's plan to survive, it started with extraordinary generosity from their trustees, partnered with the payroll funds that they absolutely deserve, and then went to their community, their audience, and the greater Cleveland community and say, okay, we need your help as the third leg in this stool. I think that's really great. And I know the Detroit Symphony is doing the same thing. There's a small group of people that think they're just going to shut everything down. They're going to lock the employees away from their pay, and everything will be fine. Everything will just be fine. And I feel sad for those organizations, because this is the time when you need your orchestra and your opera company and your theater company and your dance company and all those other smaller presenting organizations kind of step up and be part of the future. It's our hope for the future.
So, what are we doing in the meantime? I mean, how do we get ready for a season that may or may not happen?
Because I knew we were talking today, I did a survey of the first 600 email addresses in my contact list today. And I asked them two things, because I have nothing better to do. I asked them two things. I said, since the lock-in has been established, how many online concert or recitals or whatever have you watched? And they're in ranges. And then I asked the question, if you have watched any, what's the length of time you've spent online? What I found was that people are watching many online concerts and recitals, and half of them are watching 45 minutes or longer, and a third of them are watching an hour or longer. So as far as keeping close and craving what we do as our artists, that itch seems to be there, and I think is being magnificently provided for and answered across the country and around the globe. What's always been the question is, how do you monetize it?
Oh, amen.
How do you monetize it? I don't know if the generation that tuned in for all these concerts is also interested in buying them online yet.
Yeah, well, that's been the issue from the get-go, right? That's just exactly, if it's online, it must be free, right?
Exactly. And I think if there's a third wall of this equation, the third wall is we create community by coming together and experiencing our art. And in creating that community, we create an understanding of the philanthropy that must accompany it in order to have it happen.
Right.
So most of the people that I work with believe that this is going to push the philanthropy measure even higher at an institution that's already, 2/3, 3/4 philanthropy. How do you do that with two people sitting at a computer screen 700 miles away? How do you walk into the back of the concert hall and shake hands and ask how dogs are doing and daughters and sons and weddings and, spouses? It's completely different. I've always been this way. Maybe this is just a always glass half full view of the world, but I happen to think our art transcends time and every life circumstance. It has survived long enough to earn that. But that doesn't mean that the rest of our careers professionally aren't going to be really complicated.